She doesn't even go here.
I'm bi, actually.
Excuse me. Could the ugly, untalented gays please report to the principal's office?
Hi, I'm Kurt Homo, and I'll be auditioning for the role of kicker.
Hello! Welcome in, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of Not So Straight Nerds. I'm your host, Luke.
And I'm your host, Alicia.
And today we are talking Minions and Monsters. Minions!
Minions, assemble!
And you know what? I think we both are kind of in agreement. We have no idea where this episode is going to take us.
No, I have no idea.
I fear we're up for a bunch of tangents. And you know what? I fear that those kinds of episodes are my favorite. So
Let's go.
heck yeah. We are gonna jump right on into that after vibe
The
check.
vibe check. The
How are
vibes
the
are
vibes?
good. I don't know if I mentioned it, but my allergies have been horrible the last week. But I feel like they're starting to go away a little bit. Right as the heat is at like hell levels. I hate it. It was so hot yesterday. It's one of those. It's almost 4th of July. You'll be seeing this, and it will have already been 4th of July.
Yeah.
Anyways, by the time we're filming this, it is June 3rd, right? No, July 3rd right now. And at this point, I'm like, I don't even want to do anything because it's too hot. It's not even like it's hot, 4th of July, you can go to the pool, you can like go see fireworks, you can eat some popsicles. No. It's like you step outside and you want to die. So, those are the vibes outside. Inside is good. Anyways. Yeah, I'm excited for some upcoming episodes too. I feel like this weekend we're filming a lot of fun stuff. If nothing else, stuff that I'm excited to talk about. Yeah, especially this one. I actually feel like I don't know where this is going to go either, but there's a lot of movie references in this movie, and so I'm excited to talk about that, if nothing else. I love a good movie that appreciates movies, you know? And I didn't know that I would find that in a Minions movie, but alas, I have. And I love it. I love the combination, so let's go. Anyways, how have you been?
Oh, I'll be vibing, and I'll be watching movies.
Yeah.
That's living the dream.
Yeah. I just binged The Bear. I saw Enola Holmes. We're going to talk about both of those somewhat soon. I'm watching Christopher Nolan movies that I've missed before the Odyssey. It's fun. Some Disney live actions. I've actually seen a good one. Actually, the ones I haven't seen are probably all going to be at least okay, if not good. So, that's exciting.
Right,
Before
right.
whatever Moana ends up
Yeah,
being.
no
So,
heckin' kidding.
but yeah. Let's talk about Minions and Monsters.
Yes. Before we go on,
Oh, yeah.
spoiler warning. We're talking to the end of this movie.
Yeah.
And probably any other Despicable Me or Minions movie is up for grabs. So, fair warning, we be talking details here.
I would
You've
say
been
so.
warned.
Yeah.
So, Minions and Monsters, I think we have to start on expectations.
You know, I was excited. I liked the fact that... Well, I just liked the concept of it all. I liked that they were going to film movies. I thought that was a very funny concept. Honestly, after Rise of Gru, it's kind of like, where do we go from here? And I think it was very fun that they went back. Because they kind of have to at that point. It's like they already got with Gru, so like you kind of just have to go back from that point. But they added a really fun element. And surprisingly, it was not monsters, or not as much as the movie element. I would say my expectations were expecting more monsters, and we'll talk about that later. But as far as the movie element, my expectations for that were surpassed. So there was good trade-off. I just think the title may be misleading. So there's a little warning for you guys. But yeah, I feel like overall the vibes were good. I was excited for it. I was a little nervous how the theater experience would be, but actually it was pretty good. Because I remember last movie, they had the whole pop culture thing where everyone would dress up into suits and like have like a mosh pit in the front row, which I didn't experience that in my when I watched it, but
We did whenever
heard about it.
Me and a group of friends went to see it. We did have some people in suits,
yeah.
and inherently, I think that's so fun.
Yeah, I think that's fun. It's kind of like the Barbie movie where everyone dressed in pink. Even some people were dressing in like all black for Oppenheimer. You know, I love when people do that. I love those videos. I'll never get tired of the trend of like, one ticket please, for what movie? And they're like dressed in full, like they're like dressed up as Batman. I'm like, the Barbie movie. But yeah, no, I love those trends. I'm actually surprised I haven't seen any this time around. But that's
Yeah.
okay.
So
you?
I'm on a very similar trend
Mm-hmm.
with you. Although that being said, I was kind of whatever on another Minions movie. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, take it or leave it. And before we like got the trailer and announced that it was Minions and Monsters,
Yeah.
it's buzzwords, but like
Mhm.
throwing monsters in your title will unfortunately kind of get me every time.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for monsters. Minions, I think they have their moments. And the trailer itself, I thought, was really fun, especially like the first one.
Yeah.
And I think the whole movie biz of it all is like very like to the side in the trailer. So
It kind of seems in the trailer like the movie aspect is just the pathway to the monsters.
yeah.
And that is not what happens in the movie at all. So that's interesting.
It's a very interesting pitch. I think I've seen kind of an understanding that stories about movie making are hard to sell to the general public. So I wonder if that was kind of their way around it.
It just stinks. I feel like they could have had, you know, as much as I was not a huge fan of the live action Lilo and Stitch, although they did this for both animated and live action, they had a fun marketing plan where they kind of did all these different posters where Stitch was in and like ruining something. And I feel like they could have done something like that to market this Minion movies.
Oh, for sure.
Where they could have had them like take over posters, take over short little scenes for teasers. I feel like that could have been their perfect way to market something that is sometimes hard to market. But I guess we'll never know.
Well said.
I guess we'll never know. Anyways.
So,
Yeah.
expectations, ultimately, where they landed for you?
I think they ultimately surpassed, even though the reality of the movie shifted,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, I would agree. It's like, in my mind, they went a bit above my expectations,
Yeah.
but like in a different way. Like quality-wise, it
Yes.
surpassed, but it surpassed it in a different way than I was even anticipating.
Yeah, what I liked was not what I expected. But I was happy with what we got. Even though at the end I do think the title can be misleading overall. I'm so happy with what we got. So yeah.
Indeed. So, I think, as we always do, let's go best parts.
I like our new Minion group. People were kind of talking about how it's not the same main trio. But I actually kind of immediately really liked them. I wasn't super nervous about that. I think, you know, Minions are supposed to be funny, and so I fear they can be pretty replaceable. Like, and I think that's fine. No shade to the original trio. They have a lot of fun as well. But they actually do focus on the relationship, at least between James and Henry. Ed is like the third in the trilogy, and he's not in it near as much, but he's very fun. They talk about James and Henry quite a lot in their dynamic with each other.
Historians will say they were best friends.
That I'm clocking. Exactly. It was right after Pride Month, but you know what? We saw it in Pride Month, so
Clocked.
period. Yeah. No, it was so cute. I loved them. I loved them as individual characters, especially James, our main minion. He was very fun. He reminded me somebody, I don't know if it was like Zoe Rose Bryant or somebody, said he was very what's his face from the Fabelmans? Sam Fabelman? Sammy?
Yes.
Sammy sounds right. And I kind of agree. I agree with that. Obviously they go in different directions, but they're very like artistic. They have a vision. They love movies. They get their little camera. Although Ed is definitely, he takes over towards the end with his camera, which is very, very fun. But it is very much giving Sammy Fabelman, and that is such a compliment. Did you find it was?
Yes.
Sammy
Yes.
Fabelman. Period. I also really liked our two like human-esque characters, Debbie and Dort. They were very fun. And I say esque because I don't even know what Dort
Dort
is.
is
I guess
definitely
he's
not human.
Yeah. Hence the like robot babies. That was hilarious.
Dude.
No, but they're so cute, and I love the voice actors. The second I clocked it was Jesse Eisenberg, because I knew he was in this movie. I just didn't know who he was playing. Same as Zoe Dutch, although I clocked her right away. Jesse Eisenberg, because they give him like a more like robotic voiceover, it took me a few seconds to clock, but I did, and it was kind of the best thing ever. It was kind of like when we
Dude.
clocked Seth Rogen
Mm.
in Supergirl. It's like I leaned over, I was like, that's Jesse Eisenberg.
No, Dort was so fun. He came in,
was.
I think, at like kind of the perfect time,
Yeah,
and adds just like a burst of energy to what the other minions are doing,
he does.
and he's so fun. Oh,
Yeah.
when do we get the Dort spinoff?
No, actually. No, he was great. He wasn't a big part of the movie, but he was in it, I would say, just the right amount. Yeah, it was so funny. I loved the Bright Brothers bit with the Warner Brothers. I looked it up just to make sure I got it right, but there were actually 4 Warner Brothers.
Dang.
And they all had some sort of role to play in the creation of Warner Brothers as we know it today. I thought that was very, very fun. That was a good bit. I don't know why. I loved that bit. I loved anytime they were like on screen.
The dynamic between them was hilarious, and Jeff
Yes.
Bridges was really well cast.
I agree. I even liked the director. I don't know who voiced him, but I thought he did a good job. He was fun.
Is
He
the
like he did.
black
He
one.
stood out to me the least, but he was still very fun.
Christoph Waltz. You know him. He was in Frankenstein. He was the German guy. He's in Inglourious Bastards. He's in Django Unchained. Hold on. It's this guy.
I haven't seen those. Anyway. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
You've
Oh,
seen
very
that guy.
cool.
He's a little everywhere.
Yeah. I thought that was very fun. And I've seen a lot of movies, but
Oh, have you?
obviously, but I obviously still have a lot to watch. It's kind of one of those things that you're just kind of always watching new movies. There's really like an endless amount. So I was happy to see how many movie references I did get, and then how many I connected the dots with later on when reading about them. Because there was someone, his name's like Reese, I don't know his last name, but he does a lot of promo for a lot of different movies. I don't know how he's able to do that, but he does. He's like everywhere. I follow him on Letterboxd, and he, in his review, said, here are all the movie references I caught, and it was like probably 50 movies at least. So it was very fun, but I found an article that actually talked about when those references were in the movie, which I liked better. So yeah, I'll shout out those later though. They're like, they can be like their own
Yeah.
section for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
There's quite a lot. I like the Cyclops bit with him stepping on a Lego.
I'm a sucker in all of the Minion movies for the like boss montage. Here I thought it was interesting to give it like a lot more purpose. So that was fun. The Cyclops and the Wizard were both very fun.
Yeah, I agree. I also find it really funny that a bit that they used a lot in the second movie, Rise of Gru, was Mini Boss. They called him Mini Boss, and here they called everybody Big Boss, and I thought that was really funny. Like, I'm not Mini, I'm just a kid. Yeah.
I love our monster designs. I thought they were
agree.
very fun.
Yeah, especially like the eye blob in the end.
I mean,
That is a movie reference, and we'll get to that. But yes, very fun.
Also, movie is really funny.
It is.
I think it needs to be said.
I agree. I liked the comedy in this movie. I liked all the bits, how they were kind of intertwined with a lot of the movie references. I love that George Lucas was there, locked in a box. They had Alfred Hitchcock with all the birds surrounding him. They had like a Casablanca reference. They had a lot of they had The Matrix. Like they had a lot of like
Matrix,
guys
E.T.,
in that
Jaws.
little yes. I loved the Jaws bit where their boat got eaten by a shark. Yeah, I love the design of the main monster.
Goomy?
Ooh, Goomy. I knew it started with a G. With a G. Sorry, with a G. Anyways,
Dude, his voice is crazy.
he was so funny. How he was like, "I'm so and so, leader of deception." And
The
nobody
deceiver.
clocked, yes, nobody clocked that, and I'm like, guys. Ugh.
It-
Anyways,
It's like
they're
my
just
girl.
cute little guys.
It's like my girl Kenzie. At least he's up front.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it's a short movie, so it's hard to like. There's not a long list, but they're all big highlights.
Yeah,
It's like
or at least very overarching highlights.
I agree. Is there any other big shout outs?
I think the dynamic that Dick has with all of the other minions is really funny.
Yeah.
The idea that everyone follows him, even though like they all can't stand him at the same time.
Ugh.
I thought the like ultimate like climax was very fun, and dude, the way they fought Irene was so satisfying.
Yeah.
With like her turning like solid and then like shattering. I'm like, I love this. It's giving like the like TikTok channels that like do like the slime videos.
Yes.
It's giving ASMR, but like
There's one
the
that I
extreme.
follow where it's like on like, I'm trying to find the crunchiest leaf, and like every day this person finds a leaf to like step on, and it's like the crunch, and everyone in the comments is like 0 out of 10 for the crunch. Like they like actually take it so seriously, and I love that. Yeah, I agree. It was very satisfying. It was kind of giving like the Suicide Squad a little bit with their silly little fight. And then also all the little like jets they were in was very Star Warsy. But yeah, it was very fun. Ugh, I love the Minions. Just like remake a popular old movie but with the Minions. More of that, please. It's like the one where the girl was like confessing her love and he was like lasagna. That was so funny. I'm like, give me a whole movie of that, please.
No, it was really funny when like this is basic like first half of this movie is basically Singing in the Rain.
No, actually, I love how they're it's very Singing in the Rain where they're having the transition from
silent film
silent
to
film to sound. Yeah. I feel like a really good one. They didn't do that in the film, but I feel like a really good one would be like Home Alone. That would be a really funny bit if they were like Kevin, because
they
not in
have
this
a
film, but
Kevin.
they have a
He didn't
Kevin.
get the
So
invite. Okay. I think we
yeah.
talked about a lot of good,
I think so.
and I think we'll probably pop things up as they come across.
Yeah, I still want to talk about the movie references, but
Yes,
that's
yes.
later.
Worst parts.
The first two monsters that, what is his name?
Goomy.
Goomy woke up. They were there.
They really did not do anything.
No, they really didn't do anything like at all. I don't know why they were there. It was just they were just there to serve the purpose of the triangle to wake up Irene. I'm like you could just do that anyways with this spell book. We don't know the lore. He could have just said that was a spell book.
And like you could have had, I think, a lot more interesting if you wanted to have them here. Like I think there's bigger references you could have done with like, oh, this one's over here, this one's over here. We make the movie, and it's like, you know, going
Yeah.
there is like a different like movie horror aesthetic. Like, oh, one's in like Transylvania, or like Skull Island or something
Yeah.
like that. I think there was a lot to do there.
Mhm.
I think it's odd that they didn't want to go for it.
Yeah.
But oh my god, shout out to that one scene with them though, where it's like the like when they're running around really quickly chasing James, and they're like
Yes.
Tom and Jerrying back and forth. That was maybe one of my favorite parts in the movie.
Yeah. They had a lot of good bits. Yes. Yeah, it could have been fun maybe if they found a better way to incorporate the monsters and the movie, like, just entire storyline. Because obviously they're looking for a monster for their monster movie. But I agree. I think, this was a short movie, so you could have added, like, even just 5 more minutes of, like, a little montage of them going on sets and like stealing people's monsters, or they have a spell book. You could have they could have gone somewhere, found like a Frankenstein,
The
like,
What
made
If
it
Doctor
real or
Strange
something.
thing where you're just going through different monsters.
Yes.
I agree, especially because that's like kind of what the trailer's pitching is like.
Yeah.
Oh, they need a monster, so they go look at all of the other monsters, and I think that sounds really fun.
Mhm.
Ultimately, we get something I think as compelling as that idea, but I think it's interesting that they kind of throw that to the wayside. They
I
like
agree.
kind of get their answer aggressively quickly, and I think it does miss out on that opportunity that could have
Yeah.
been here.
I agree. I don't know what else. I feel like I don't have a lot of complaints.
I'll say there's
I
also
enjoyed
a
it.
bit of a disjointment, I think, between the start and the end. Like it really feels like there's a halfway point where it switches from like love of film and like film homage to monsters.
Monsters.
Like it
yeah.
almost like to a very extreme extent.
I agree.
Like they're not even like I think it's almost weird that they're not like in horror movies at all in the first half.
Yeah.
And then it switches to monster movies.
Mhm.
It's just I don't know. It's like not that it's not a good like change. I
Yeah.
think it is just very jarring.
Mhm.
Almost to the extent I'd almost wonder if these were like 2 different scripts at some point and they were just like, let's put these together and make one movie. It's
Yeah.
It's just
I could believe that the monsters part, the reason it wasn't always in the title was because it wasn't always a thing.
mhm.
I would not be super surprised. I think it also because they took so much inspiration from Singing in the Rain. If they had like maybe a couple of like bits from that, like the dancing scene that's very big, the actual Singing in the Rain scene, I can't stand them. I quote that to myself like all the time. I love the way she says that. The like cake thing when he sees that girl for the first time. I don't know. Something. He could have gone to the movies. I thought that could have been cool. I don't know. There were some areas of improvement, but I'm happy with what we got. I think it could have been elevated.
I think really the kind of I really wish it kind of like led into each other a little more fluidly, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I think that there's so much here and I think it builds such a strong foundation that the like switch up halfway through still works.
Yeah.
But I do ultimately feel like there was a more full circle movie that could have been had with all of the pieces here.
I agree.
What?
But that's one of the things I read when rewatching all the movies and rewatching Rise of Gru was somebody was saying, I love how low stakes it is until the very end, and then it feels like suddenly it's like huge stakes and it almost like takes me out of it. And I see what they mean. I still love that movie. But I feel like this was kind of like that, but just more so disjointed in the middle versus like the very end. And maybe if it like flowed better, then I think the entire movie would have fit better instead of like 2 really good parts.
Yeah.
Oh. What you gonna do? It was still really good. It was, well, we'll talk about rankings in a second.
For sure,
Yeah.
for sure. But that being said, I think that's maybe the extent of my problems with the film.
Yeah.
Weh?
I agree. I kind of just wanted to shout out some of the movie references.
Go for it.
We
Full
saw.
send.
The obviously early on they showed kind of like the first movies ever, like The Horse in Motion is a big one.
Looking at you, nope.
And then I wrote down some of these. I'm gonna remember some of them and not remember others. The train pulling into the station. That's when the one minion loses his hat. That's from a movie called Train Pulling into a Station. The Mummy, obviously. Citizen Kane. I wanted to see because you said that you had
I
seen.
love Citizen Kane.
Yes. So I haven't seen that. Like I've said, I have a lot of movies to still see, even after seeing so many movies. But you've seen it, and you had heard that if you liked Citizen Kane, you would like this movie. So I want to see what references you caught and how you feel about
That was
comment.
certainly my favorite because it was one of the more like unsubtle ones.
Mhm.
Because they're just ripping it like directly. That movie's so good. It's basically about the death of the world's richest man, and when he dies, which is the scene that you see the minion recreating, he says Rosebud, and then the entire rest of the movie is the world being like, okay, the richest man in the world said Rosebud as his last words. What does that mean? And then like they start looking back at his life to try and like unpacking it, to try and figure out what the hell that was about. And you're seeing him like become rich, and then like the good and bad things he did, and they're trying to figure it out. It's especially because I think it's one of the more like, in the terms of like people joking about spoilers, it's one of the like most said spoilers that I think goes around about older movies.
Interesting.
Like
I
once
have
you
no idea what it is.
I'm curious if you'll clock it. I've heard it a lot of times, and then I watched the movie and I was like, oh yeah, I know what Rosebud means.
Okay.
But it's so good.
I might look really silly and I might be overthinking this, but there's like a cheat in The Sims where you could type in Rosebud and it gives you $1,000. And I'm like, Loki, is that a Citizen Kane reference?
It is definitely a Citizen Kane reference. You've also probably
Wait, I love that.
it's also a reference when people refer to a place as Xanadu, because that's his giant like castle that he made to live in, and it houses all of his like crazy Scrooge McDuck riches and crazy animals and like treasure from around the world. Xanadu is something I've heard in a couple of things as well. Citizen Kane, it be having impact.
Is Scrooge McDuck like based off Citizen Kane? Do you know?
I'm sure to some extent.
Very cool. Obviously we mentioned Singing in the Rain, Casablanca. You see one of the main characters
Classic.
there. Creature from the Black Lagoon,
Ooh,
20,000 Leagues
was
Under
fun.
the Sea. Lady and the Tramp, in the middle of the ending fight, they eat spaghetti, which is really funny. Cleopatra, I think that's very funny because I had heard something about Cleopatra where that is one of, if not still, the most expensive movie ever made.
Dang.
Like in terms, obviously
Inflation.
with inflation. To the point where if it wasn't the success that it was, like there would not be a Warner Brothers. Like it would have bankrupted them. I still haven't seen that movie, but I kind of want to just because of the history. I hope I'm right about that. I think I am. The Viking, that's when they were Vikings. That's the movie they were doing. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly was like they changed it up a little bit with a poster in the background. Obviously, we mentioned Jaws. I mentioned Star Wars, E.T. And then The Blob is the movie with the Blob. And I actually looked up like a little trailer of it, and I was like, yeah. And then they even did a Babylon reference, which is very funny
Like
with
that.
the party scene. Yeah, and that's not even the full list. That's just kind of like the highlights that I saw. So
Yeah, a lot of
Kinda
and you
great.
like see Charlie Chaplin in it, which is very fun,
Yes.
and they do like the iconic front of the house falls down and the person lands in the middle of the window
Yes.
around him. Fun stuff.
Ugh. Crazy. Yeah. Kind of a lot of references there. I love it. I love when movies do that.
Yeah, it's very interesting that I think so much of this has like it's like they have the parts of these kids movies like Illumination and DreamWorks especially where there's a lot that kids don't pick up on, so there's like plenty that like is for the parents who took them here. But it's interesting that even this is a little more niche than that, because now it's not like if you're an adult you get this reference. It's if you are specifically into the history of film,
Yeah.
which is I think surprisingly niche for something this big. But I think
I
it's
agree.
still awesome that they went for it.
I love it. I agree. I don't know, and it just fits for the Minions. Like this is kind of perfect for them.
I am very curious because they also now have canonized that there's just I think they like I want to say Homegirl said there were like 12 different groups of minions that wandered the world at some point.
That makes sense because like obviously they're looking for a boss, but then they kind of get sidetracked with the whole movie stuff. The monster bit kind of brings it back a little bit, but they're still definitely into movies. Versus obviously we see the group that finds Gru. That makes a lot of sense.
It makes me wonder, and a question for you, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Would you
Yes.
like to continue seeing other groups?
Yes. I'd love to see like a crossover too at some point and what that would look like. I don't know. I feel like as long as they keep being okay or better, I'll see as many Minion movies as they want to make. Because I think there are a lot of ideas out there. Maybe they're not always going to be executed the best, but I feel like this is one I would keep going to see just because they're just so like fun to watch. So yeah, keep them coming, and they make a lot of money, so they probably will. We're probably still gonna get a Despicable Me 5 at some point, I'm sure.
Surely. I don't know. You know what? That raises an interesting point.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd be sat for another Minions movie. Dare I say, I'm probably more reserved for a Despicable Me 5.
They have to have a good pitch. I agree with you. They have to have a good pitch. I did a rewatch on all of them, all the Despicable Me and all the Minion movies before seeing this. The first one, I think what I love about it, obviously I love Vector. I'm literally wearing the shirt. I love Vector. He's so funny. But there are other fun villains, so I don't think they're lacking in that necessarily. But the other element that I really loved from the first movie was the family dynamic. And I feel like they have moments, they try, like obviously Lucy's a new character in the second movie, and she's very, very fun. The third one, she has a lot of moments with her and the girls, but then Gru's off doing his own thing. And even the fourth one, like they have their own child, and that brings a new dynamic. But it's like I feel like we never really see all of them. And it would be interesting. I'm not looking for something like The Incredibles where they all are like superheroes and fight or whatever. I'm not looking like that. But I want something like that in the sense that I want to see their family dynamic directly together in the story.
That's a good point.
And if they had something like that, I think that alone would be enough of a pitch for me. Because I just feel like overall the family dynamic is lacking in the other films, and that's a big bummer. So.
All right. Invalidated.
Whereas like the Minions are kind of just fun to watch. Like,
Yeah,
in
I think
any
with
capacity.
with the Minions, I think you can put Minions anywhere and they work,
Yeah.
and I don't think that's the same with Gru and Family.
No. Like Gru's very fun, Lucy's very fun, the girls are very fun, but they're never like together. Like one of my favorite scenes, I believe from the third one, was Lucy with the girls in the grocery store when that crazy lady that she like ruined her hair was after her. I love that scene.
That's 4.
That's 4?
Yes, because they're undercover. So that was the fake job that she was given.
That's so funny. But it's just like I just want to see them together. We were so close with 3, and then they had Drew, and I'm like, anyways. But then he left, so I was like, okay, we're good. But yeah, I don't know. Bring back the family dynamic in the 5th one, and I'm sad.
Indeed. I feel like there's easy things to do, like family vacation. Like, just, like, having them, like,
Yeah.
doing something together.
Absolutely.
And chaos ensues.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like you just reminded me of a movie, but now I can't think of it. Maybe like the Nobody movies, but again, I want the
Interesting.
family to be more directly involved together.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like you shouldn't be running out of ideas, but I feel like they are, and that's really disappointing because they're missing the mark of what made the first one so special. And that stinks. Anyways.
Okay. Any other thoughts on maybe the Despicable Me or Minions franchise overall?
I don't think so. I feel like with that we can start ranking them.
Oh my god, let's do it.
So we have a full rank on our Letterboxd account, which we always link at the end of our videos, with the full list of our Illumination movie rankings. But I feel like today we're just gonna do the Despicable Me Bubble
Yeah.
franchise.
I think that's
if you
valid.
will. Are we just gonna list them off? I guess. Boom, 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 boom.
Let's go back and I like the back and forth.
Okay.
I think especially with how short this episode's feeling, I think we can afford back and forth.
Let's do it back and forth.
Okay. Would you like to get us kicked off?
I feel like we're both gonna have the same bottom one, and that's number 4.
And you know what? You thought wrong.
See, and now I know it's gonna be 3, but I'm a hater of 4. I don't like 4, and it sucks because it starts off so good with what I would say is one of, if not the best song in a Despicable Me movie. It's so good, and then it's just so nothing after that, except for the Lucy and the girls scene. I love that scene. That's it.
Wait. Number 7, I do have Despicable Me 3. I'm sorry, Drew. Not interesting in the slightest. The villain, I think the villain was maybe the most interesting part to me. Like the 80s guy, I think that was his
Yes.
movie.
Yes, the I've been a bad boy.
This was the only Minions
He's
/
funny.
Despicable Me movie I needed to watch before Despicable Me 4. Although I also rewatched 2.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had seen that a handful of times, but it had been a while. And especially 2 going into 3. Get out of here, 3.
Fair enough.
Number 6.
My number 6 is number 3. Yeah, it's not great, but I actually do really like the villain in this one. He's fun and interesting, has fun gadgets. He's not Vector, but I think he's like the closest we've gone to Vector since then, like the vibes. Yeah. I don't know. He's a vibe. I like him. And then Drew's there.
And I hate the Drews there. Number 6 for me, I have the first Minions movie. I've not seen it since theaters.
Oh,
But I remember being aggressively like, oh, okay.
I feel like I feel similarly this one and 3, although we'll get there. Anyways, we'll get there when it's there on my list. It's fine.
I don't know. This one maybe feels the most aimless to me.
Mm.
Like, it almost gives, like, hey, people like Minions in Despicable Me. Let's just give them their own movie. And they're like, it's almost like an improv script where it's like they were writing it as they go. And
Yeah.
then it just went. And, like, it has to end with them finding Gru. And
Yeah.
so it did. But Scarlet Overkill, I remember, was very fun.
Yeah, I agree.
Gotta give Batty that.
Listen, these next two could be interchangeable, to be fair, but I did put Despicable Me 2 next. I remember liking this one, and then upon a rewatch, I was like, this is okay. I don't know, so maybe that's why this is below Minions for me, because I feel like the first Minions I thought similarly upon a rewatch, and number 2 I thought worse of on a rewatch, so maybe it was just the fact that I'm disappointed that I put it next. because I really remember liking Lucy, and I love her in this movie. She is objectively the best part of this movie. Is this also the one where they have that weird kid that likes Margot, and then the
Yes.
yes, I didn't care for that storyline. Although I think that's one of the things I might have said in my review was it's very of its time, like the whole like, oh, dad's jealous of the girl, blah 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 plot of, or like his daughter liking boys, whatever. But it's 2026 and I'm over that plot, so whatever. But I love the chip hats. I need one of those. Have they ever sold those in stores? Because they should.
They shouldn't. You
No,
shouldn't
yes,
be
they
eating stuff
do.
that's been on people's head.
Well, no, but like your own head. Or someone that's bald.
That's not good for your stomach or your hair.
You could get a Clorox wipe.
Right. I'm sure bleach is
That's
gonna be
really good for
It's
their head. Yeah,
pretty
that's
crazy.
the problem. And then, but like,
Hmm.
regardless, someone needs to make like a chip tray. It doesn't have to be like actually tortilla. You don't have to wear it on your head, whatever. But you know, everyone makes those fun little chip and dip trays, and I think why can't that be one of them? I should invent that. Nobody steal my idea. Anyways, no,
Everyone be cool.
no, I'm not gonna do it. So somebody else could do it. It's fine. Yeah.
My number 5. I have Despicable Me 4. I think Baby Gru's like maybe the most whatever part of this. That and like the neighbor. I think there's more that works here for me than doesn't. My biggest problem also is that they be advertising hella Minion superheroes, and then they like not be there, and I'm like, then don't be maybe that's a thing with the Minions universe. I think they advertise different movies than they give
Well,
sometimes. Clearly,
and I like the purple minions where they're like just like almost like monsters. I didn't really care for the superhero ones. I'm like, they're already like indestructible. Like that's kind of their whole thing. I could do without the superheroes. I like the purple ones though. They're funny with their little like underbite or whatever.
hella underbite.
They're so like the design of them is very fun. So, my next one is the Minions movie. I really like Scarlet Overkill, and like I said, I probably put this movie where it was because I remember it being good or like solid, and then it was solid, and that was that. Like my expectations were met. Yeah.
My number 4, I have Despicable Me 2. Close to love this one. I really like this one. I think it transitions supervillain to spy better than I would have expected. I think the villain's fun. I think Dr. Nefario leaving is maybe my biggest like.
Yes.
He leaves and then he's just here the rest of the franchise.
No, I think that's also my problem with 2 is it has my least favorite villain out of I think all of the movies. And then Dr. Nefario leaves, and for what? So stupid. Anyways. His little like rocket scooter is cool though, I will say. I'll give him that. But you could have shown that without him having to leave, so it's okay.
Mwah.
Yeah. My next movie is Minions: The Rise of Gru. This is really good. It's not perfect, but it's very fun. And I actually don't totally mind that they get big at the end, although I can see what I could see like why someone would say that and have a problem with it. But I really like it. I like Mini Gru, how they call him Mini Boss. The whole thing of trying to join the supervillain league at the time and then being rejected and kind of teaming up with the other guy that was rejected, that all going wrong. Like I actually really like a lot about this movie, even if it never like becomes great. I think it's very good. I like it. It's enjoyable for sure. A standout is number 3, so you know.
My number 3 is Minions and Monsters. I think, like I said, I think this is 2 really great halves of like different movies, and if it blended together a little better, I think this would easily at least be 2.
That is my number 2, is Minions and Monsters. I thought it was really solid, and I love all the movie references. I'm a sucker for that, especially when it's done well. So yeah. I don't know.
Fair.
We just talked about a lot about what we thought about it.
My number 2, I have Minions: Rise of Gru. I do think this is kind of that movie. Whenever I watched it, I went in with a lot of reservations, especially after the last Minions movie, and it was a blast. Yeah, obviously there's one above this that I think is a clear outstanding movie.
Yeah.
But this one is like, I don't know. This one is, it's not a competition, but it's like silver for me. Solid silver.
All right. And obviously that means both of our number 1s is the first
The
original
OG.
Despicable Me. So there you go.
Oh, Despicable Me.
No, this launched what it is today. Like, and I understand why. It's so good. Vector is such an iconic villain, and he's also one of, if not the only one, that meets in like the parks. And I'm so sad I never got to meet him. I would have loved that. But this was the first because I've talked about, I used to work for Disney, but then obviously I was like 30 minutes away from the Universal Park, so I got a season pass. And I realized that I had like no shirts to wear to Universal because I also didn't bring a lot of clothes, so it was pretty much all exclusively Disney clothes. So I was like, I need to fix this. And this was the first shirt I bought. This I had 2. I had this and a Grinch shirt later on, and a Jurassic World hat or Jurassic Park hat. I think that's a great pick, actually, if I do say so myself. But the Minions are like amazing. We were talking about we wouldn't be surprised if they took inspiration from the Toy Story Aliens, but I think, you know, they've clearly used it super well and better and elevated it. Yeah,
Like,
they can make boring parts of Despicable Me movies fun. It's like, well, at least the Minions are here, you know?
No, that's what else I was thinking. I didn't say this earlier, but Minions and Monsters is really reminding me of like Toy Story 1 and 2, where it's, because those are also very movie reference heavy, which I think is fun.
I agree.
But yeah, hard to beat the OG. Steal the moon!
I'm actually a little surprised that the first Despicable Me didn't do better than it did. I mean, it got like 500 million, so that's pretty good. But for some reason, I was remembering it getting 1 billion, and actually, a movie did not hit 1 billion until the Minions movie. Despicable Me 2 got close, but it did not hit it. So that's interesting to me.
Indeed. Next up, reception. How do you think Minions and Monsters perform or was received?
This is fun because I have literally no idea. Like, I don't even have a clue, except for the fact that you said one day it was the highest rated of all the Minions movies, I believe.
Of all of Illumination's movies.
Oh my god, wait. So, like, I'm going to say, like, a 95 and, like, maybe a 90 audience score?
That what that was said about was for the critic score. So,
Yeah.
critic score, it is at a 91.
Okay. Surprised that's the highest. I am. And when you said that, I'm like, because they have some good films. I'm a little surprised by that. It's okay.
And audience score is at a 75.
Ooh. Wonder why. Maybe, I mean, I haven't seen almost any discussion about it online at all other than the Letterboxd reviews. Maybe they were disappointed it didn't have more monsters in it.
And you know
That
what?
would be my best guess.
I
And I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Valid judgment.
You call it Minions and Monsters, you should have more monsters.
It basically should have been movies and Minions and Monsters.
Yeah, or like Minions in Hollywood, or like, I don't know, there are things to do with that.
And what do you think the cinema score was?
Ooh, with that? Like a B+?
A minus.
Good. Okay. I'm glad they weren't as strict about it. That's good.
So it has currently, let me see if it's updated. And this is released on a Wednesday. So there's a whole holiday weekend for it
Yes,
to
it'll grow.
get bigger.
Yeah.
Currently, it's at 41 million after, what's today, day 3?
Yeah, I don't even know. Yeah, they would have day 3 by now.
So,
But not even a Saturday and Sunday yet. I bet it's going to be packed tomorrow.
so where do you think Minions and Monsters is going to end?
Gosh, let me see. Despicable Me almost did $1 billion. That opening weekend was 75 million. And I think this is going to surpass
This
it.
one's definitely eyeing at least over 100.
Yeah. Yeah, that's surpassing it. So I think it's definitely gonna hit $1 billion. It's like Toy Story. How far past $1 billion? That's where we're at right now. The highest grossing in the franchise is the first Minions movie, which was 1.15 billion. Do we think this one will surpass that?
Said 1.15.
Yeah.
That was Minions. You know what? I think it
'Cause,
wouldn't.
Yeah.
0.15. Because I think ultimately someone said it is the lowest opening of the Minions movies of the 3.
It's interesting because Rise of Gru did not hit $1 billion. But it also came out in 2022. But then that also means this was still lower in opening weekend? That's surprising to me.
Interesting. I think I'm going to hit it with 1 billion spot on as my guess. I think it'll get really close to that. I think maybe a little under, a little over.
I'm actually, and I'm a little surprised that I'm doing this, but I'm going to do it. I'm actually going to go lower. I'm going to go 950 million. Just because Moana is coming out next weekend, which is a, not oddball. It's like, we have no idea what it's going to do.
A wild card, for
yes,
sure.
it is a wild card. It could hit $1 billion or it could flop so incredibly hard, like Snow White. I have no idea, but it is a kids movie, so it would be directly competing with the audience. And you know, as a kids movie, this has a lot of references in it that they would not get and not care for. They would care about the monsters aspect, which is not a huge part of this movie. So I wonder at the rewatchability factor as well.
Oh, absolutely. It's almost more rewatchable for adults, which I think is
Yeah.
a very interesting decision.
Ultimately, I do hope I'm wrong because I do enjoy this franchise and especially the Minions. It'd be nice for it to surpass $1 billion, but I actually don't know with all those factors that it will. The audience score surprises me, so now I have some reservations.
Fair. But either way, if it even gets anywhere near that,
I mean,
it's still a
that's
huge
very
success.
successful. Yeah, I agree. I just think like it would be a fun little like thing for them to say, "Oh yeah, I hit $1 billion." You know, it's one of those things. Even if it gets really close, it's not $1 billion. It's like Oppenheimer. Everyone's like, "It hit $1 billion." No, it didn't. Let's not forget, it did not. Which sounds cooler when you're able to say it hit $1 billion. But anyways, yeah.
Yeah. So last up on our docket, an update on our current draft score. So,
Right.
Minions and Monsters was on my draft list.
Yeah.
Thank God. And it is currently giving me 62 points.
Okay.
And mind you, remember, on box office, it hasn't even hit 50 yet. So you know that's going to keep racking up.
Okay. Yeah. That's awesome.
So, my current list has Toy Story 5, which is at 82. I think it's close to hitting the highest draft score of any movie that's released this year. Minions and Monsters is 62. Supergirl is at 49. Masters of the Universe is at 57. Leviticus is at 47. I Love Boosters at 58. And Scary Movie 6 at 39. So, of 7 movies, I'm currently at 394, which now is a
Now
pretty
it's-
sizable chunk over
yeah.
half.
That's good.
Because that's just under half of the entire draft. And I still have another movie to go. And Toy Story 5 and Minions and Monsters is going to continue to give me more points.
Yeah.
So now I'm pretty happy with where I am.
Okay.
Which is the first time ever since I picked this list. Okay. You currently, you had Mandalorian and Grogu, which gave you 65. Disclosure Day, which gave you 57. The Backrooms, which gave you 61. Obsession gave you 75, which is your highest. Power Ballad gave you 47. So of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movies, you have 305 points. I feel like comparatively, we're pretty dang close.
We are. Yeah. Very fun.
So I still have Moana, which is coming out next weekend. And that's my last one. But that Toy Story 5 and Minions is going to continue to rack up for a hot second.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Spider-Man Brand New Day, The Odyssey, and One Night Only. And those will definitely do some catch up.
Box office wise, 2 of them.
So we'll see.
No,
This might officially be getting closer than I expected it to. Whew. I'm so excited.
Who
Stay tuned
knows?
as we continue to see how the draft scores compete. And ultimately, I think sometime probably late August is when we're going to officially lock in a winner.
Yeah.
But very exciting.
Yay.
So stay tuned for our coverage of all of those movies and our draft winning score. And until next time, I'm your host, Luke.
And I'm your host, Alicia.
And thank you so much for watching Not So Straight Nerds.
Bye.